I tried to lay out market values for the Canucks' 3 upcoming UFAs, that being Brock Boeser, Pius Suter, and Derek Forbort. And basically what I did is I put out the question and said, if you can only pick one of these, which of these market value contracts should the Canucks sign? I did Boeser 7 years at 8 million. And honestly, I think that might be a little high. I think maybe his market value is more like 7 years, 7.5 million, 7 million maybe. But for these purposes, I did 7 years at 8 million, Suter at 4 years and 4.5 million, and Derek Forbort at 2 years, 2 million. Now, I ran these numbers by you. Do you agree that these are give or take the market value for each of these players if they hit the open market with the cap going up?
Yeah, I'd say all of them might be on the slightly higher end range, but not by a lot. For example, with Suter, I'd imagine 4 times 4 might get it done. So the 500K, like all those might be slightly higher by about 500K on the cap hit, but otherwise you're in the right ballpark.
Okay, so if you could pick one of these, which of these contracts should the Canucks sign? Harmon, 43.6% of voters went with Pius Suter, saying 4 years at 4.5 million. 34.9% went with Boeser at 7 years times 8 million. And Derek Forbort said got 21.5% at 2 years, $2 million. I give you these 3 contracts and I tell you, sign one of these. Which are you going with? I find myself going with Pius Suter here.
Yeah, 4.5 is a little bit rich. Again, I'd prefer 4 times 4. But the question really is Besser at 8 million versus, let's say, Suter at 4. It's double the cap hit. Is Besser twice as valuable to this team than Pia Suter? Besser's a better player, but I'm not convinced he's twice as valuable. I believe that Suter can be a like high teens type of goal scorer consistently. I don't think he's going to be a consistent 25 goal guy. He's on a bit of a shooting percentage bender right now, but he's already shown a baseline at around the 15 goal mark as his floor. And if you give him an expanded role like he's had this season, even if his shooting percentage regresses, I still think he could be close to the 20 goal guy on top of strong defensive value, excellent penalty killing, which has been a major asset for this Canucks team, and even just the versatility of not just his ability to play center, but top 6 wing. Let's not forget that last year, Suter was by far the best wing option that JT Miller and Brock Boeser had. When that trio played together, they controlled something ludicrous like 61% of shots and scoring chances compared to any other winger in that spot. The results were a lot more middling. So it's not just that Suter can play center and play on your third line. It's that if you ever end up in a scenario where your center situation looks strong, Suter can also give you help on the top 6 wing as a complimentary guy.
The one thing I will say is when I was doing this exercise, I was looking at it and saying, okay, how are they going to replace each of these players if they don't go with those players themselves, right? Like if they didn't get Dakota Joshua done, it was clear that Kiefer Sherwood was plan B. But then they signed Sherwood anyway, and they signed Joshua. Happy ending for everybody. If they don't sign Suter, like can they go find the next Pius Suter? I think maybe. Can they go find another Brock Boeser? I think that's where it starts to get a little dicey to go find a scoring winger who who meshes in well with your dressing room. Like to go find that on the open market. Look, everybody wants Sam Bennett. I would love to see Sam Bennett in Vancouver, but like everybody wants Sam Bennett. A lot of teams are going to want Sam Bennett. So I do worry about it a little bit when it comes to replacing Boeser. But I think if I had to pick one, I'd still go with Suter. But I do give some thought to the Brock Boeser one as well.
Yeah, the difficulty of finding top 6 wingers, especially on a team like the Canucks that already, even with Brock Boeser in the lineup, needs more top 6 offensive weapons. That's concerning. You're 100% bang on. It's not going to be easy to replace Brock. But does that mean the Canucks should sign a contract that probably isn't going to age well? I just don't love the idea of, in a post JT Miller world, when you don't know what center Boeser has definite chemistry with. I don't love the idea of giving him 8 million times 7 years. That feels like the kind of contract that's going to bite you in the ass. And for Pius Suter as well, I don't think it's going to be easy to replace his skill set as far as You're not going to find, in my opinion anyway, a guy who can give you 20 goals, who can play center and wing really well in your top nine, who is a first unit PK guy for like 2 million. Like, good luck.
Mhm.
And I know you sort of got lucky by finding Suter initially, but I'm not convinced that you're going to be able to find a player who can, let's say, give you 80 to 90% of Suter's value at half the cost.
Yeah, especially with the centers that are available on the market too. Like, that's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy. It's not.